Next would be Miss Lisa Lance, Library Director.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We want to thank ARP for their tax assistance. This event ended April 13th, and we had approximately 65 returns filed. I've not been able to confirm it yet, but I have been told that that was actually more than last year, and that Carabel location actually had a larger increase this year than in times past. So we do appreciate them, their time coming. They actually come from McCullough to volunteer for that. Just a few things of highlight I want to promote today. Our garden event program is at Carabel, and it's garden insects, the good, the bad, and the buggy. It's that time of year to be worrying about the bugs for our gardens. The same presentation will be at East Point on May 9th at 1:30. Today's is also at 1:30 in Carabel. We are in our 7th week of the Music Second Language program, and the kids are doing really well. There are some that are really practicing and getting better every week. Our summer reading program is still being planned. Build a Better World is our theme for this year. All of our performers have been booked. Our start week is June 12th, and our finale for that summer program will be July 28th. We've got a lot of other programs that we're working on, planning right now an additional STEAM program, trying to get some of our younger age programs back in place. I've actually been attending a lot of meetings since in the past couple of months, and I will be attending the FLA conference May 9th through 12th in Orlando. Two main points that I want to make the commissioners and the community aware of. East Point branch, effective May 1st, will go back to 9 to 6 Monday through Friday. I'm not installing the Saturday hours at this time due to mostly the facilities cost, the payroll cost, and the lack of customers. It's just not feasible at this time. I'll readdress that come winter when our snowbirds return. But effective May 1, East Point hours will be 9 to 6. And something the community, I hope, will support. The Friends of the Library is hosting Cinco de Mayo fundraiser, and that's at Sometimes It's Hotter on St. George Island, and that's Friday, May 5th from 4 until the last taco is served. There'll be food, tacos and nachos for $9 a plate, along with beer, also music, a raffle, and a silent auction. We appreciate our friends of the library that do a lot of support and a lot of fundraisers throughout the year. So, any questions?
One question real quick. On the Friends of the Library now, is that for the overall library
Yes, it's for-
system?
Yes, both
Okay.
locations, Franklin
Okay.
County, they cover both.
So that's for the total system.
Right, exactly.
Any questions from the board?
Ma'am, I thank you for the job you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Well, thank you very
I
much.
stop by and see you quite often.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate y'all's support.
Thank you for coming in today. Did you have something? Next will be Mr. Kirk Blair, TDC report.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Excuse me. Wanted to start off this morning with our discussion about our collections in the last few months. The most recent collections that you've seen in your report of January, posting for January, they were at $41,668. That's actually down a little bit from last year, which was about $47,000. But as we discussed from month to month, these monthly variations differ dramatically. They go up and down constantly. And I wanted to make a point of pointing out to you that when we look at a 3-month period, the first 3 months of the year, of the fiscal year, we're seeing a pretty dramatic increase on a steady basis of about 26%. That was for October, November, and December. And the reason I point that out today is we're up overall this year right now at about 15%. That's gonna go down. We're gonna probably come in this year at about 8%, which is where we came last year after we average out all of the months. But the significant thing for the first quarter is we've seen 2 months in the last 2 or 3 years, excuse me, April and October, that historically were generating revenue at about $50,000 a month, are now up close to $100,000. And the $100,000 revenue period for us. We sort of see changes the month, shoulder month to an active, seasonal period. So we've got 2 months now that are in what we would normally think of being off-season, being the summer, that are competing well with the summer months. We've really had some success at increasing the occupancy in those off-season months, which of course is what we've been trying to do for several years. And as I say, April and October are well within those numbers for, that would constitute, a seasonal month as opposed to off-season. So we think our marketing in the off-season is making a difference. The visitor centers in March showed 3,532 visits. That's up a little over 500 in the previous year. And this month we had, that is to say March, we had the largest number of hits on our website that we've ever had. So the industry is strong. We're seeing anecdotally, stories from lodging companies and nonprofits and other businesses that everything's pretty strong in March. I think we'll see a real good month. I'll excuse me, jump around in my report and say that we're getting our budget ready for presentation to you for budget hearings later on in the summer. We'll have that done in May, and in part as a result of the revenues that we've seen in the last several months and what we've seen in the last couple of years. We're going to project a revenue of about $1.1 million in our budget this year. That's higher. We bumped it up a little bit. Our revenues actually are coming in at $1.2 million plus, and we would expect to see that again this year, barring any terrible storm or something. So things are moving along very solidly, and we're very happy with the results that we're seeing. I provided you in your packet a copy of the finished policies and procedures document. I pointed out a month or so ago that we review the policies and procedures every year to make sure that they're still current. And we talked about a number of the I talked with you about a number of the changes that we're doing with this document. We've got them finalized now. Attorney Schuler and I've gone over them in great length, and the board has finalized this document and are presenting it to you now for adoption. And so I can go back over the changes with you if you'd like. I think we've talked about most of them. They're address changes as a result of moving the offices of the TDC. They're schedule changes because of the way our fiscal year is working and things that we've learned about that. We've got some clarifications in our board selection process to be consistent with what you've asked for in terms of advertising. A change in the reimbursement procedures to accommodate changes in state law and to make our reimbursement and payment policies more transparent. And we've had changes in the agenda, as I say, our meeting schedule and the like. So we present that to you today for final adoption, if that's your desire. And I'll answer any questions about that I can.
Any questions from the board for Mr. Blair? The board's pleasure on adopting these amendments that have been made to the operating procedures. This has been reviewed by the attorney, you said, Mr. Blair?
Yes, sir, it has.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lockley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Massey. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? The motion carries.
My next item, thank you, Commissioners. My next items will be bringing our contracts to you over the next couple of months for vendors, nonprofit organizations, and the like. The legislature is still in session, and They're still debating, among other things, the Visit Florida statute along with Enterprise Florida, and as I don't think it's missed the attention of anybody that reads the paper periodically, the House and Senate are dramatically apart in both their budget items. They're about $2 billion apart in their budget, and they are clearly very far apart in what they propose to do with Visit Florida. That's significant to us, not only because we kind of build on Visit Florida's promotions for the state, but we also, obtain grants from Visit Florida for some of the activities that we do. Although if they make significant changes, we're only talking about around about $10,000 that we get from Visit Florida. But they clearly are set the pace for our marketing. So we're keeping an eye on that. But and we've sent letters to the legislative delegation in support of Visit Florida. Beyond that, there's not much we can do. This is going to be a battle that the governor and the Speaker of the House and the Senate President are going to have to resolve by the end of session. I sent you a copy of our Florida Association of Destination Marketing Organizations legislative report, so you can get some detail on some of those discussions. Just a couple of informational things. In the next couple of months, you're going to be releasing several marketing activities. We've finished up on our 6 public service announcements having to do with protection of the Bay, and those will be released here at our next meeting, I believe, and we'll start getting those on both Forgotten Coast TV, and then we've also got them reduced to some minute and 30-second spots so we can run those on other TV outlets. We've got a pet-friendly promotion that's partially funded by Visit Florida that you're going to start seeing the results on. We've got a video that's in the process of being prepared, rack cards, and we've got an inventory of all the pet-friendly facilities in the county, which we will start communicating with, and we find that the pet-friendly market is a very, very positive one for us. So and we're continuing to work on some of the concerns you expressed at the last meeting. We've got a video coming out. There's a typo in my report. It says on the protection of our total habitat. Actually, that's supposed to read turtle habitat, and I apologize for the mistake. That's a video that was recommended by at one of your meetings by Commissioner Parrish, and we'll have that done here in the next month or so. Our board wanted to commend Commissioner Sanders for her work on the wildlife corridor, because she's working with the Big Bend Scenic Byways, and that's one of the organizations that we help fund through the Tourist Development Council. And we are still optimistic that we'll be participating in a Around the State tour with the Jean Mary paddle wheel. And I don't have an update on the dates for that yet, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know. And then in terms of recent marketing activities, mostly relating to our nonprofits, we had a tremendous turnout to the Carabel Fly-In a few weeks ago. It far exceeded everybody's expectation. It was a first-time event in Carabel. There were over 37 visiting aircraft that came to Carabel during that weekend, which was the same weekend as Camp Gordon Johnson's parade. We really did have a tremendous turnout to that event, and we think that the City of Carabel and the Airport Board did a tremendous job at putting that together, and we were happy to help fund that. We had also in Apalachicola a tremendous turnout in the oyster cook-off in Apalachicola, and we helped in funding that as well. And there are a series of other events that are occurring this month, including the Boat Show and Brewfest and the Art Walk, along with, in May, the annual plein air event. So we're having some real good turnout at a number of these events. Our next board meeting will be May 10th, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any question from the board for Mr. Blair? Thank you, Mr. Blair, for coming in today.
Thank you very much.
Board recess 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm ready. We're ready down here.
Board of County Commissioners now in session. Next will be Ms. Beth Kirkland, presentation of the Flight Logistics Zone Study. Please come forward, state your name for the record.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm John Collins with AvCon. We are the consultants for the Apalachicola Regional Airport. Before Beth comes up to give her presentation, I did just want a quick update on some ongoing projects that are happening at the airport right now. The first one is the Upgrade Airfield Lighting Systems project. This is one that we've been working on for about a year with the DOT, and it's been under construction for about a month and a half. And what the job includes is removing the existing lighting, edge lighting, for the primary runway and taxiway, replacing them with LED lighting. And the benefit for the county there is that it reduces your long-term maintenance needs at the airport. It also reduces, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
It also reduces the power use by about 40%. So once this project's done, the airport should see a decrease in the power bill every month, which I know everybody's going to be happy about that. A second project, we do have a drainage project that's out for bid right now. Bids are due on April 28th. At the airport right now, there are a lot of issues with the existing drainage system. There's a lot of gaps in the pipes where water and soil is infiltrating the pipes, and you see a bunch of voids out there. And so what this job does is it replaces those pipes and the inlet structures. And so that'll also reduce the long-term maintenance needs at the airport. So we'll go ahead and take care of this right now, so you don't have to worry about that over the next 5 or 10 years.
I think Mr. Morone has an issue.
Yeah, since
Sure.
you're standing there.
An item on his report
Chairman,
related
my
to that.
attention. Item number 4, board action to sign change order number 1 and pay application number 1 for the upgrade airfield lighting system project at the airport, Mr. Collins was just referring to. Change order number 1 reduces the unit price for the runway and taxi edge lights by $28 each by reducing the volume of concrete required. This change order reduces the contract price by $6,777. Pay application number 1 is for $136,263.15 and is recommended for payment by AvCon. It covers, the pay application covers the period from 2/27 to 3/17 of 2017. And in case you have any questions, Mr. Collins is there to answer those questions.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley. Do we have a second?
This is to pay,
Yeah, pay the contract for the work that's been done.
okay.
Yeah, and a reduction in the cost of the contract.
Okay, second.
We have a second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion by the board? All those in favor? All opposed? That motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask them one question?
He has one question for you.
Yes, sir.
On that lighting,
Mhm.
do they, this other light, or what you call it?
LED lights?
No, stuff we got on the code house, they can't put that
Oh,
up.
the solar panels.
Yeah.
Have y'all searched out a grant for solar?
We have not seeked out, specifically what, you're talking about installing a solar farm at the airport?
I mean,
The DOT,
He's talking to offset the energy costs at the
Offset the
airport,
energy.
putting in a small solar.
that'd be a great idea. The DOT at this point, they've not issued grants for solar farms. Typically, those are private-public partnerships between the county, you own the land. Typically, what happens is the county will lease that land to a company who would then, put solar farm at the airport and then sell that power back to Duke Energy. It could also feed the airport. That's certainly something we could take a look at. Would it be feasible to install a solar farm at the airport? Florida's a great place for solar farms. It's happened at other airports. What we need to do is look at the airport and identify areas where it might make sense.
This is grant, there was a maximum amount of money we had, and we're only doing one of the runways. I mean, there was a lot of electrical work that had to be done, so there wasn't any
Right.
additional money to look into the solar thing. I'll be honest, Commissioner, we have solar panels on this roof here. The solar panels on this roof here, just servicing this building, was over $100,000 just for that project, so they're very expensive, and you need really a funding source to install them. So either we go look for another grant, that would be a separate component. I mean, I'm not disagreeing that that's a great way to move, because it'll save us more money, but we had to fix the lighting first, otherwise we wouldn't need solar panels.
I guess what he's trying,
Yeah.
I guess what Commissioner Lockley's trying to convey is not actually doing a solar farm, but doing a solar package specifically for the airport to help offset some more of this energy cost
Right.
that you're referring to.
That'd be an excellent idea, and we could certainly take a look at that and to see, at this point, there's not any funding available for it, but we are updating our 5-year work program with the FDOT. And we could certainly include, installing a solar farm at the airport just to feed the airport to offset, like you said, the existing utility needs of the airport. We could certainly take a look at that. That's a good
Yeah, I
idea.
wasn't talking about no big.
But actually, the solar
big
farm, I mean, we have a couple hundred acres out there, that might be another
Right.
avenue to raise some money out there.
Yeah, you keep saying farm, and what he's talking about is just
Right, two
Just something
different
for the airport.
something smaller to
Correct.
help offset
Right.
the energy costs of the airport itself, but the farm
Right.
is Alan is talking about, maybe another way to help generate funds for out there.
Absolutely.
So it's something that the airport advisory committee and our airport manager and yourself working together with Avcom, y'all can look at that for us in the future
Yes, sir, absolutely.
as we move forward, and maybe we have
It's-
some
it's
way
good-
of making money out there.
Yes, sir. I completely agree. And this is a good time. This is good timing. We're putting together the 5-year program with the FDOT right now. So this is a good time to include that project in the program. Correct.
Does the board have any more questions for the gentleman from Avcom?
I was going to do a brief introduction for the economic development plan that Beth.
So we still are working on 2 other projects out there. One is, of course, the county's on the economic study of the airport, that's still ongoing,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And then when will we get a result on that? When will that be wrapped up?
The plan?
Yeah.
We're in the middle of that now. I would say in about 6 to 8 months we should have the final plan
Okay.
available.
Then the other thing we're working, just so you don't forget, we are still working on the long-range opportunity to put the connector road in
That's
there to
correct.
open up the other part of the industrial park. So that still is in the works.
Yes, that's correct. We're actually working with the agencies right now to finalize the wetland permitting portion of it. And yes, we're hoping to have that done. It should be June of 2018, that road should be done.
The road should be done.
Yes, June of 18.
Okay, so we'll go out to bid maybe in a couple months?
It's about 4 or 5 months out for going out for bid.
Okay.
Yes.
Proceed.
Okay, thank you. I know the agenda today mentioned a different project, but actually what Beth's, the intent of today is for Beth to give an update on the economic development plan that we're developing for the airport. About a year ago, we heard loud and clear from the commissioners that economic development at the airport was a high priority. And so we approached the FDOT looking for funding to fund a program and a plan to how do we develop the airport. And the FDOT was able to provide money to fund a program, and fortunately, this money didn't come from an existing project that we already have. It was new money that was not currently in the Franklin County budget, or the program. And so, and really, there's 4 questions that we were wanting to answer. What do we have as an airport where we can market and provide to somebody else? Who would we be reaching out for? Who are we marketing to? What's the message that we want to tell or share? And how do we get that information out to the people who would really need to hear it for the airport? And so with that, we brought in a leader in economic development, Ms. Beth Kirkland with BRPH, to head up this study. And with that, I'll hand it over to Beth.
Please come forward, state your name for the record.
Good morning. Thank you, John. Chairman Parrish, Commissioners, Administrator Pierce, we're so glad to be here this morning to share the initial information that we've been gathering as we've been meeting with the Airport Advisory Committee and the stakeholders in your community, and to gather more input from you here this morning. My name's Beth Kirkland, and I'm with BRPH. Point at, oh, it worked, okay. Obviously, this is your asset, and John did a great job of
Can't see that.
okay, describing the asset and all of the activities that are going on, and I commend you for the maintenance and the attention that you pay to this airport, because it is a great asset in the 4-county region. I know that the agenda talked about the Freight Logistics Zone study, and I am going to touch on that in my remarks this morning, but the Apalachicola Regional Airport is a critical component of that Freight Logistics Zone. Franklin County is the beneficiary of a lot of economic development attention going on right now at the same time. Obviously, you have a very active Restore Act committee, and you're working very closely with your consultant, Dewberry, and the University of West Florida Haas Center. At the same time, the Florida's Great Northwest Regional Economic Development Strategy has been released, and the committees associated with the tenets of that strategy are now actively implementing the strategy. So it is not something to sit on the shelf, and Franklin County is a part of that strategy. Again, the University of West Florida supporting you with just tons of data that you can use at any time at your disposal, as well as working with the 2 regional planning councils, which draw down the federal dollars that we need to help with economic development in our region. The Gulf to Gadsden Freight Logistics Zone formation is underway, and that's being funded through a Department of Economic Opportunity technical assistance grant. And the county that is the lead on that is Gulf County, but it incorporates Gulf, Franklin, Liberty, and Gadsden counties and connects the Interstate 10, CSX Railway north of 10, down the Apalachicola Apalachicola Northern Railway to the Port of Port St. Joe, incorporating this airport as the air transportation asset. And of course, what we talk about today is the Strategic Commercial Land Development Study that BRPH is conducting in partnership with you and with AFCON. The approach that we're taking in this study is to leverage these simultaneous activities that are going on. Looking at those funding streams and making sure we're a part of those conversations and that those entities understand the work that's going on in Franklin County. We've also been conducting individual interviews with the Airport Advisory Committee members, as well as some of the other stakeholders in the community, and formulating a SWOT, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, to how this airport will progress. We want to talk to you this morning about the results of that SWOT and then show you some of the prioritized opportunities, get your feedback as we go into the next stage, which would be an economic impact analysis to begin with. And additionally, we will look at different parcels of land within the airport footprint that we can do further due diligence on. This would be desktop due diligence, engineering and environmental analysis of the developability of the property and what that highest and best use would be to give you the best return on investment. We should determine the value of recommending projects to restore funding. What should we send forth? And the Airport Advisory Committee has made a recommendation there. And then, of course, John talked about marketing, and that is extremely important because we do feel like that the airport is under-marketed, and that with just a small amount of marketing, that we could see a tremendous amount of additional growth there. This is just the splash page for northwestfloridaforward.com. It's a wealth of information about our region. It's important to approach economic development from a regional standpoint. When you think of us and how we fit into the global marketplace, the companies don't know where county boundaries are, they don't know where city boundaries are, but they know where Florida is and they know where Northwest Florida is. And so we're very fortunate to be a part of this. It's a wealth of information, both from technical data as well as the study that was released by TIP Strategies and the Regional Planning Council. So I encourage you to go and take a look at it.